Just trying to sort out my volume. Am I live? Yes. Okay, cool. Um, no, that's yep. Okay, yeah. Just had a little bit of issues with the volume there, but of course you cannot have a high stream without some form of technical difficulty. But thank you so much for everyone for tuning in for the first episode of Hindsight. Psychosis is actually something that is not widely understood, and there was a case that happened in January. No, sorry, that was decided, and the sentencing was done in January. But the crime actually took place in on May 2020 2018, I believe, or something like that. But we're gonna cover all the fine details of that case because that's what really spurred me to kind of start penning and start thinking about what I want hindsight to be, etc. So we're gonna get into that. Let's roll the intro from now. Basically, for those that don't know what hindsight is, and for those that are basically new to this channel, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button because we have a lot of content coming out, and this was the perfect time. In all fairness, the way that everything just comes together, this was the ideal opportune time to actually do this because there are so many things that I want to talk about, and I just don't have enough time when I do decide to do a deep dive. You guys have seen how much work I've put into that when it comes to like the Dev v. Heard Labyrinth, for example, like the Tory Lanez case that I've done on the channel, for example, and the Jonathan Majors case. When I go into a case, of everything else kind of goes into the back burner. So doing this kind of like, I wouldn't say it's random, but I would definitely do it twice a month, most like a minimum twice a month. One at the start, one at the end. Sometimes it could fall every week, if depending on time. But ideally, the main reason why I created this and I wanted to do this was because I wanted to have that stream that I can sit back and chill with you guys and just go through things that I just wouldn't have a time to go into a deep dive on. So stories like this, for example, that I saw, but I was like, I knew I couldn't get time to go into deep dive because it's not much to do with evidence or correcting misinformation. But I still wanted to talk about it. It's not like the Taylor Lorenz case that I've covered, where I have to expose this liar Taylor Lorenz for what she is. It's not like that. It's just hitting something that's really quick. So this live is not gonna be lives like this is not gonna be long or anything like that. It's I'm aiming to make it at least 1 hour 10 minutes max or something like that. But it wouldn't be long. I'm gonna go into the chat because you guys are here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Hey Betsy, welcome. Is that your dog? Oh, I hope I did not get that wrong. I hope I did not get that wrong. Okay. But yeah, well, welcome, Betsy. Who is Otis? Let me just ask it like that so that I can so that I'm not in trouble or anything like that. But yeah, I would like to know who Otis is. Jog my memory because I'm having a hard time remembering who Otis is. I do apologize for that. Chairs, welcome. Yes, unfortunately, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Just get that part actually ready. But you guys are, you guys are. Thank you so much, JH. For those that don't know, JH was my first ever. I will never forget it. Your super chat is it's literally framed, so I actually do appreciate you for this. Thank you. Yeah, so I will go into this. I will talk to you. I will revisit this because I did look all of the things that I talk about in regards to myself, whether it be speech impairment or whether it be psychosis or anything like that. It's not something that I go out of my way to talk about or to make a story about. Even if it's something that is in this, like it's still something I wouldn't do. When I was doing the interview with Eric Hunley, I will put that into the description. But when I was doing that interview, that wasn't actually planned. Like it wasn't the interview was it was always going to be definitely heard. But Eric Huntley he's a great YouTuber. He's been doing this for years, and like, and it was a very it is interesting. Let's not let's not kid ourselves. I mean, doing all of this, doing the documentary, doing the deep dive, all of those things while I was in recovery is a very interesting story to actually ask someone. I would do it. Anyone would do it. Like, so but what I'm trying to say by saying this is that it wasn't something that we sat together and like conspire and then came up with this, and then it was going to be about psychosis, and then we talked about. No, it literally happened on stream, and you know sorry, not on stream, while we were going, discussing really. So when that happened, and the great interviewer he is, that's what you do. You kind of you just know that this is a unique thing that people would want to hear about, that people would want to talk about, and people, sorry, not want to talk about, want to know more about. Sorry. So that's, I don't know how to go into that. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to speak for him. Basically, I'm not trying to um work out his motivations or whatever. I'm really appreciative for the stream that he done. I'm saying this because you know um I'm saying this because it's one of those things that I've been used to, people questioning my motives, etc. And I don't want to justify myself on this stream or anything like that. But that interview, for example, and for all these things that I talk about, it's not. It is brave. I do accept that, but it's not something that I go out of my way to actually put out there. It's usually it just comes out. It just there. That's it. That's probably the best way I could actually express it. It's just you see something that you just know it deep down, it just pisses you off. It just, and this was one of the cases. You know, because I just didn't like how, well, for one, like in terms of people saying that the woman deserves jail or something, like, I just didn't like that narrative. I didn't like how the painting is, because I've been through it myself. So when I was looking at this case, I saw it. I was like, I, I can put myself in her shoes. I'll get to it. I will get to it. Let me go back and read the rest of the chat. But thank you so much, JS, for that. Lynn, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. I really do. Lou, thank you so much. Oh no, you don't want to go on X. it's a it's a war zone. You don't want to go on X. you you don't want to go on X. What you want to go on is a nice holiday trip with your family, and touch some grass now and then. Like go on a camping trip, or just go to the park. Get some food. That's what you want to go on, really. um Yelly Bean, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're here. You have always been here, to be honest. I really do. I really do appreciate you, Yelly. And Jess. Oh gosh. Sab S. Oh wow, yes, I think you're very new to the channel. I like the hat ketchup. I feel like you're summoning summer. Yes, summer is almost here. Summer is almost here. So I've been going back to the gym as well. So I've got to prepare for that, for when that happens as well. So but yeah, but yeah, Sab S. I think this is the first time I've seen you on the channel. So welcome. If you have been here previously, I probably have missed you. I do apologize, but welcome to the channel. I just wanted to say, extend my gratitude for joining the stream. J Edge says too many people still stigmatize mental health. What you're doing is so important. Big hugs. Things. I do appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. I'm not an expert or anything like that. What I'm going to do today is just, it's not going to be like based or anything like that, where I'm just biased to one side or anything like that. I am going to try and get. I have got almost every article that I could get to kind of get a granular view. I'm not sure what I don't think that's the right word, but it's to get a more comprehensive is better. Yeah, it's to get a more comprehensive view of what exactly has happened here and what the history is like with this particular person, why it was decided the way it was, because she basically, to go into a quick background, she received 100 hours of community service after she had smoked marijuana, and she went into a drug induced psychosis, and she stabbed her boyfriend 108 times with a bread knife, and she also killed her dog as well. We're gonna go read more into that, but I just wanted to give you that to give you an idea that this is what we're gonna go into. I'm gonna give my personal opinion, but I'm also gonna try and go into the legal aspect and why it may have reach in reach that decision in the end. And then I'm also gonna juxtapose it to my situation and what it would have been like over here in the UK, something like that. So that's the main format for the show today. Freddie Stardust, Freddie, welcome. Are you sure? Are you sure no one wants to go there? Are you sure? I've been seeing I've been seeing some wild things on there. I'll tell you that. Hey, Silent. I hope you're well. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, Twitter is it's a cesspool. It's always been a cesspool, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I really love Twitter. So no one I've been on Twitter since 2011. It's Twitter. It's always gonna be like that. So in a way, I guess I have kind of developed some thick skin to Twitter and the low side, and as well as the highlights it can be, because sometimes Twitter is really funny. So I try and find those spaces that are really funny, like that post that just roast everyone, but not in a way that it would destroy someone's confidence or anything like that. But it's just for example, amber stands, right? We when you enter that side of Twitter and you see the 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 consensus that goes on there, like that side is funny. Like that side can be funny. There's also, you don't want to go into football Twitter, but what I'm trying to say is Twitter is Twitter. It's like for me, I like it because it's like the best reflection of what life is. It can be really dark. It can be really light. I don't know, but it doesn't bother me. What goes on Twitter is it's not real life. It's just, but people think it's real life. People like to control the narrative there. So it is what it is. Najia Louf Nuga here. Hello, thanks you for your honesty. Stay like you are. Oh, thank you, Najia. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate every single one of you, to be honest, for being on the stream. Silent Midnight, thank you for sharing. Let me go into the story. So so let me get it up. Okay, so let me close this ad time. Let me close. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. Can you guys? Yep, you guys can see that. Okay, so this is by the Published Reporter. First time of me hearing it, but this is the first one that I found that kind of gave objective facts in regards to the case. I've never heard this news outlet before, but it kind of was really it looked balanced in my opinion. So I thought, let me give it a shot. So right here it says The Californian woman who was found guilty of fatally stabbing her partner Chad O'Melia 108 times while in a cannabis induced psychosis, Bryn Spejcher, took a surprisingly light punishment. On Tuesday, Ventura County Superior Court Judge David Worley sentenced Speicher to 2 years probation and 100 hours of community service, sparking heated debates about legal implications of drug-induced violence. The incident occurred on May 28, 2018, when Speicher, a relatively inexperienced pot smoker, had a deadly psychotic episode after a marijuana bong hit. Both prosecution and defense experts agreed that the drug-induced state left her with no control over her emotions. Sorry, not emotions, actions. Sorry, sorry about that. The defense argued that O'Melia pressured her into taking a second hit after the first failed to produce the desired effect, leading to an involuntary intoxication that culminated in a tragic killing. After the violent murder in California, police discovered Speicher's wet, bloody, and clutching the murder weapon close to O'Melia's lifeless body. When officers tried to disarm her, she made a terrifying attempt to hurt herself. During the sentencing, now they free, subbed in court, expressing remorse and apologizing to the victim's father, Sean O'Melia. The emotional apology highlighted the devastation caused by her actions, acknowledging the irreparable damage to the O'Melia family. Despite the defense portrayal of an expert in inexperience, despite the portrayal of Speicher as an inexperienced pot smoker, the prosecution painted her as a party girl seeking a night of intoxication. Mike Speicher's father, provided an alternate viewpoint during the hearing by highlighting her daughter's background in assisting others and her work as a professional audiologist. Beyond the courtroom, Sean O'Melia made claims, creates a dangerous Sean O'Melia had made claims that Judge Worley is biased and that the decision creates a dangerous precedent that effectively gives marijuana users a license to kill. That is only one aspect of the controversy surrounding the case in California. However, Speicher's lawyer Bob Schwartz defended the ruling and as the right and courageous thing, emphasizing the complexities of involuntary intoxication under California law. So that is the most factual one that I could find, because the other articles that are that came up from this, in my opinion, it's really the reason why this stream was birthed, because it wasn't, I'll just say it was framing it as if she got away with murder. It was framing it as if this is something that just came out of nowhere, and there is no way in any sane world that this would be the case. Let me know what you guys think of this in the chat. Let me actually put this in a poll for you guys. See, this is the stream that I kind of get to talk with you guys and get to really be interactive with you guys, like, and like, get your opinions a lot on things where I definitely won't be able to do that when I do deep dives and stuff. It will be very difficult. So this is probably the first time we can talk about cases and really interact about cases, and whereas you see how hard I do try on premieres to like try and talk with you, but this one you can actually get to see and do the process live. So anyway, moving on. So in a way, it's like a live deep dive. So, but I don't want it to be a deep dive. I want it to be a place where we can all connect and discuss these things. So things like this. Sorry. So not just psychosis, but different topics. Anyway, let me type this in. Do you think that the sentencing was fair? Oh, that's okay. Okay, so yeah, let me guys know what you guys think. And also, whatever you voted for, let me know why you voted for that reason in the comment section. I would like to. I would really want to hear what you guys think about that. So now let's go to the Mail Online, because we all know how much we love the Daily Fail. I mean Daily Mail. Let's go to them. The Daily Mail. So right. There's so much adverts on this. I've got an ad blocker, but it's not working. It's just not working. Or it's bombarded with so much advert. Okay. So yeah, the headline alone is just, anyway, it says California woman who stabbed boyfriend 108 times and killed him is do-gooding mentally well girl who suffered weed psychosis induces, according to psychiatrist's testimony. So right here, let me, so for forensic psychiatrist and expert witness Dr. Chris Mohandi told the jury last month that Spejcher was a normal girl and no history of mental illness or violence, who was committing to doing good in the world because she was a professional audiologist. I actually don't know what they do. I think they could be. Let me actually. What is audiologist? Let me know in chat if you know what an audiologist actually is. Okay. Okay, audiologists are healthcare professionals who identify, assess, and manage disorders of hearing, balance, and or neuro. So she is doing good things in the world. I mean, that's not exactly inaccurate. So, but I don't know why they're framing it like that. Anyway, it says that fateful night, her brain was completely overtaken by extreme psychosis induced by a potent marijuana that had been supplied by her boyfriend, he said. In testimony from Spejcher herself, the healthcare professional, and says she has smoked weed only a few times and never been high. Her attack was launched because she had lost touch with reality, as the cannabis had triggered voices in her head. Dr. Mahandi warned people with no prior history of violence can consume cannabis even one session and then proceed to commit acts of physical violence to themselves and to others. Other psychiatrists for the defense said that they were 100% certain that the attack has been caused by weed. Yeah, I think this is, if you're looking for the best case of I know people say correlation is not causation, but this is the reason why the involuntary intoxicated is brought in. Was established as a law, because sometimes it can be caused by an external agent that is not the person. So in cases for, like, example, alcohol, for example, it's not possible to get, like, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me try and wrap this up. Let me try and read this so that you can kind of understand where I'm going with that. So so people say it's just marijuana and make it seem like it's insignificant and how that could possibly happen. Well, that doesn't really fit with my professional experience. Spejcher's behavior is well documented, in my opinion, of psychosis. The things she was saying, what she was doing, was consistent with psychosis. The psychotic behaviors that she would later explain to investigators and detectives, and to me as well. The nature of it, the spontaneous things that she was saying, it was consistent with the delusion and the command hallucinations and voices that she claimed she was hearing later on. He added that her use of cannabis caused delusions and hallucinations, and she had lost touch with reality. Dr. Mohandi, who testified for the prosecution, said he fully agreed with the with the testimony from the defense. Sorry about this. I'm trying to highlight this properly. Okay. Dr. William Wershing, clinical professor of psychiatry based in LA, and acting for the defense said he was 100% certain that Victor attack was due to cannabis-induced psychosis. Come on. I don't think I can be 100% sure about anything he said, but this is as certain as I could be about anything. Most people have the belief that marijuana diminish violent potential when compared. Stop this, man. When compared to druggers like, what's the word? Baking soda. That's the one. When compared to drugs like baking soda and something methamphetamine, I think that's how you say it. That's absolutely true. I don't want to get demonetized. That's why I'm using words. That's why I'm substituting words like this. So baking soda, is this, so just for future reference. Compared to nothing at all, when compared to the room air, definitely not. Spejcher has been described by the defense as being a good character. She has had no previous convictions or record of mental health problems. I can relate to you, man. Dr. Mahandi says psychological tests he carried out on her in January showed she was a very normal person. He said there was no evidence that she tried to malinger or play up that she was sick or had any problems. There was nothing extraordinary about any of her results. She had a normal life, what I would call defensive profile. Testimony from expert tallies from previous reports about Spejcher's character. In 2018, her grandmother, psychiatric nurse Patricia Pierce, wrote a letter to the court detailing her granddaughter's nature. That's interesting. So her grandma was a psychiatric nurse. Okay, let's read this. Bryn is steadfast morals, honesty, life choices regarding citizenship with the Girl Scouts, church, health, family, and friends. She has never been violent or in trouble with the law. She had been gentle and compassionate, wrote Pierce in the letter obtained by the Camarillo Acorn. She described a picture of a wholesome child raised in a suburb of Chicago who grew up to become an audiologist against all odds. At the time of her arrest, Spejcher, who wears a hearing aid, was in her first year with UCLA in Thousand Oaks, having moved from the Midwest in 2017. Talking about her work as an audiologist in California, Spejcher told the court, "I love working there at the university and getting to know the patients. It was very easy for me to be sympathetic with them or share my experience to relate with them and make them feel like alone." On the night of the attack in May 2018, this is key part, Spejcher had gone to Amelia's home, who she had been seeing for a few weeks. Shortly after inhaling smoke of 2 hits of Amelia's bong. This is very key because I sense that he was a very heavy smoker. I sense that he was, which he used almost daily. Yep. I mean, I do this sometimes as well. Anyway, she rushed to the bathroom and she started hearing voices in her head. This is taking it back to, I remember the first time I done weed. I stopped doing it after this, but my friend's weed, he had skunk. So, but I never done it in uni after that. Never done it in uni. I wouldn't say I heard voices, but I saw men at the window. I just never smoked after that. But I'll go into that a bit later. Then she went into the kitchen and took 3 knives from a block before stabbing Amelia and her service dog and her own face. Whew. When the police first arrived in early hours, they found Spejcher drenched in blood as she kneeled over Amelia's corpse. She was stabbing herself repeatedly in the neck, with officers unable to get her to stop until they hit her with a baton. Damn. After viewing the police body cam footage of the scene, they arrived in 2018. Dr. Mahoney rated Spejcher's psychotic state as 4, the most severe state when someone is harming someone else or themselves. A video of someone acting psychotic is pretty powerful evidence. Some of that stuff would be pretty hard to fake on the fly. I think this is it. This is why I wanted to really go through this, because people just looked at the verdict and just made their mind up. You know, they had their opinions based on the verdicts. I saw a couple of things going around on Twitter, etc., making it seem like it was something that excused the killing or anything like that. But at the same time, I feel like this is something that you've got to show a bit of understanding from, because I'm gonna go into why. Because for someone that doesn't smoke before, that experience is very, it's not it, of course this is extreme. I'm not saying that all weed does this, but it's just, it's it's hard to fathom. I can understand why people would have the opinions the way they did. 57% of you have said yes, and 43% of you have said no. I can understand why people would say yes, because I'm looking at this and I'm reading it. I'm like, yes, it's very hard to think that marijuana can do this. You can see and hear responding to voices is what I would call florid psychosis, meaning it would outwardly manifest. It was outwardly manifested and highly salient. I don't know what salient means. Let me actually look that word up quickly. Salient, define salient. Most noticeable or important. Okay, that's what salient means. All right, cool. Most noticeable and important. Moving on. Uh, ca- Cannabis-induced psychosis is when someone suffers from hallucinations or delusions after taking cannabis. Doctors say the drug can cause an imbalance in hormones in the brain, including including the feel-good chemical dopamine, triggering mental illness. Although the risks are thought to almost affect regular users who have been exposed to the drug over many years, doctors are increasingly seeing mental illness in infrequent users. So this is the thing. we, we're gonna get into all this because I want to go into all this really really quickly. To date, sorry. Okay, this could be this could be linked to the increasing THC content in cannabis products, which is several levels above what is natural in the plants. To date, 24 states have legalized marijuana for recreational use, with Ohio being the latest, earlier last month. This was written in January, so that will be December. Spejcher suffered from hearing loss at an early age as a result of surgery and drugs used to treat a lung problem. Growing up in a Chicago suburb, she felt isolated, ashamed, embarrassed by her affliction, which tried to hide from of which tried to hide from which which she tried to hide from others at school. Sorry about that. Giving testimony in trial, she said, "I just tried to hide my hearing aids and focus on what everyone else is doing in school with sports, music, academics, etc." To be honest, when I read this, I'm like, this is not the profile of somebody that should deserving of prison. But we're gonna move. But let's keep reading. Maybe she does. While at high school, the young girl decided she wanted to become a audiologist, so she could help others with hearing loss. She was accepted to Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, where she met, gosh, so many pop-ups. I'm so sorry. With one of professors, she said she was a best graduate. Okay, let's keep this. I want to get to the part where they were talking about the THC content. It's not okay. That's wrong. So I believe it's here. One second. Let me go to this one. I believe this is it. Okay, this is the one. So the New York Post. So the daily. So that one, I went to that source because that source was primarily giving the expert opinion, and I think it will. And the next part that we're gonna go into is gonna go into what the actual evidence was for the drug that she was taking and what was the contents in it. But I'm gonna read the chat really quickly. Talk Sim says sounds sexual. Oh God, welcome Talk Simp. We're waiting for you. Sab, thank you so much. Graduate was the right word. I'm amazed. I'm glad. I chose the right word. Uh, JS says, I actually feel the sentencing was fair. In my opinion, she lacked remorse. She lacked remorse and appeared to have tried to cover up some of her actions. Do you mean she didn't lack remorse? And I actually, when I read that, I actually thought that she was remorseful, or based on what they were printing, she was actually quite apologetic to the family. So maybe you can expound on that so that I can understand better what you mean by that, JH. So who's the poll about? I want to give the doc my the poll is about the late. Let me send the actual article so that you guys can go see. It's about the girlfriend that killed her boyfriend from a cannabis induced psychosis. So that was what the poll is about, whether whether the sentencing of her receiving 100 hours of community service and 2 years probation was fair. So that was basically the essence of the poll. That was basically the essence of the poll. Let me just put that here. Oh, okay. Oh gosh, I'm such a boomer sometimes. Okay, so that's So that's the background. That's for you, Sab. Right. So she also blamed her BF for her own actions. The poll. Do you think they will? Okay. Oh wait, I messed up. No, I think the sentence was unfair. Okay. She deserved jail time. Okay. Okay. So now that makes sense. Okay, so it was meant to be unfair rather than fair. Right. Okay. So basically, the reason why JH believes this is because she says that she also blamed her boyfriend for her own actions, etc. I agree. Simon says, I agree. She should have gone to jail. Oh, you got a case mixed up with another one. Okay, send me that case that you got it mixed up, because I want to know that case as well. I actually want to know that case. So, JH, if you do have the case in mind, send it over. We can actually go into it. It says, I would agree the new hybrid weed is getting ridiculous with the high THC content, and the high THC content is, I personally think this is why she got a light sentence, because let's be honest, before I go into the THC content, this was the article that pissed me off. It was Fox News, and it said here, lawyer for California woman avoiding jail in Mara stabbing stars as psychologist defense not a con job. I was already, why would anyone want to, come on, why? I'm reading that and I'm like, there's no way. But it says the defense presented in court that it wasn't a con job as she described it. Her attorney, Michael Goldstein, told Fox News Digital the defense of the cannabis induced psychosis was primarily based on the testimony of both renowned psychiatrist Dr. William Wershing and prosecution expert Dr. Chris Mohandi. So the fact that the prosecution and the psychiatrists both came to the same consensus is actually, it makes sense why the sentencing might have been like that, because you kind of have to look at the human element as well. But moving on, so it says here, Wershing and Mohandi were among 4 experts whose work was cited in the trial. They both found that the explosive violence was unpredictable and unforeseeable. They all agree with this. The specific strain contained 31.8% THC level and a warning label that said caution for high tolerance users only. That's key, because if the boyfriend was a frequent user, that changes the playing field, because what he smokes is not going to be the same thing for her. Some people would argue, because you've chosen to smoke, therefore this defense shouldn't exist. Well, when you read this and say a search of sweetfire.com, the website for LA-based dispensary, found marijuana flower for sale legally with THC levels as high as 39%. Similar levels were available Friday from a local comparative artistry. processed and concentrated drugs can contain up to 90% THC. Nobody seems to want to address this issue because this is an issue. This is a thing because I do remember this. I do remember my sister telling me this because she does smoke a bit, and she did tell me that no, the marijuana that we do smoke is like 1 to 4%. It's not that much, but it can still cause things because again, it depends on the frequency. But it's one of those ones. It's risen to 17% in 2017. So of course I think she was kind of relying on this outdated data when she was telling me this after the whole thing had gone down in my own personal experience, and I risen to 17% in 2007. So months before the encounter, Omnia's roommate also had an extreme reaction. Wow. So the roommate as well also had an extreme reaction after smoking out of the same bong. Ghostin said he suffered hallucinations and fear of death. So his one was more of wow. Spejcher had also only smoked pot less than half a dozen times. How do you survive this? Half a dozen times prior to the stabbing, her lawyers describing her as a naive user. She worked at UCLA Medical Center as an audiologist. Can you guys see what I'm actually putting up? Let me actually go. Can you guys actually see that? Okay. I hope you guys let me zoom in a little bit. I hope you guys can see that. Okay. Yeah, I think that should be a bit better. Spejcher had only smoked a pot less than half a dozen prior to the stabbing. Her lawyer said, okay, yeah, well, I've read that one. When asked about the difference between Spejcher's case and a fatal drunken driving crash, Ghostin said that the killer's awareness of what she was getting into is a defining factor. I think that's also a massive defining factor. As far as DUI is concerned, that person knowingly and constantly drinking to an excess and decides to get behind the wheel of a car, he said. In Miss Spejcher's case, she took a hit of what she believed to be a legal consumer product in the sanctity in the sanctity of Mr. Amelia's home as they sat on his couch with no plans to go driving at that evening. So basically, it's a false equivalence because it's not. Because naturally when you take a hit, let me play devil's advocate, because I do think if she read the label that said for strong, if that label was shown to her, I think this is a game changer. But if it wasn't shown to her, that's different. So let me move on. Amelia's father, who organized a protest outside the courthouse, hold on. Okay. So sorry. I skipped the part. Mr. Amelia was a well-documented, experienced, and chronic user of high-potency cannabis. He added, cited during trial, that came with a responsibility. With that information, Ms. Spejcher could have been informed, could have made an informed decision. This tragedy could have been avoided. They're saying this, but if she doesn't, I'm not seeing that she was told that this was a high-potent one. I'm not seeing that. But they are obviously protesting. They're saying that she should go to jail, etc. Okay, so again, let me post this in the chat for you guys today so that you guys can go see it in your own time. I don't think, yeah. So they did. That's why they got the THC level here. So let me go to the chat quickly. So did they test the way to see the Silent Midnight says? Yes, they did, but that's how they got the THC level for that particular one that was smoked. The issue, I don't think the issue is the THC level. Well, it is, but I think the issue is, was she told about that amount? If she was told this is for, then I could understand why this would be not a correct verdict. But if she wasn't told, it would fit into the incorrect not sorry involuntary intoxication. I'm gonna read that really quickly here, because in the US, this is what involuntary intoxication is in California. So that's where the case was tried as well. um but it says consider any so basically the jury instruction here is consider any evidence that the defendant was involuntarily intoxicated in whether the defendant had the required intent or mental state when he or she acted. A person's a person oh God, let me live. A person is involuntarily intoxicated if he or she, oh gosh, yeah, if he or she unknowingly ingested some intoxicating liquor, drug, or other substance, or if his or her intoxication is caused by force, duress, or fraud, or trickery of someone else for whatever purpose without any fault on the part of the intoxicated person. So I think this law, when I read this, I think this law was actually created with the spirit of, when you go to a nightclub, for example. I forgot to switch over. Damn. So yeah, we were just reading. I forgot to switch over, but that's what we were just reading. As you heard, but I think this law was actually made for when, let's say, you go to a nightclub, right, and then you got your drinks were spiked or something like that, and when you realize that your drink was spiked and you killed somebody, for example, you unalive somebody, for example, you stab them, and then that resulted in their death. Based on that law, because you didn't know that drink was spiked, etc., and you were just reacting based on, the realization of this. Let's say that happens. I don't think that's possible. Could be possible. I don't know. I've never heard cases of it. But let's say that was the case. This would not bring the punishment for you because, again, you didn't know. But in regards to the weed is where it's an issue. So there's at least in my interpretation of that anyway. Again, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, no legal advice, all of that. But I'm just saying, that's how I interpret it as. Involuntary intoxication is here. So People versus Velez really set this out. And we're going to go to it here. Okay, so this case is directly marijuana. It says, in this case, the defendant, Alfredo Eddie Velez, voluntarily smoked the marijuana cigarette furnished by others at a social gathering. The cigarette contained PCP, phencyclidine, which caused the defendant to become legally unconscious. While thus unconscious, defendant brutally assaulted the victim and was ultimately convicted by a jury of assault with a deadly weapon, with the special finding that his victim was over 60 years old at the time of crime. Defendant testified that sorry about that. I keep forgetting to share. Sorry about that. Defendant testified that he did not know the cigarette contained PCP. Blah, blah. Okay, so he says, sentenced to state prison for the upper term. Defendant appeals. In the published portion of this opinion, we conclude, among other things, that the defendant was voluntarily intoxicated as a matter of law, and was not entitled to jury instructions on the absolute defense of unconscious due to involuntary intoxication. Since we reject all the defendant's contentions of error, we affirm the judgment. So they affirm this. So they flipping out, sorry. So they basically affirmed the no, I'm reading an opinion. I'm reading that opinion, but that's the one. Sorry. So some people that was what was being argued for the judgment to be kept, but they rejected the judgment, saying rejecting involuntary intoxication defense based on defendant smoking a marijuana cigarette unaware of PTSD. Court noted that a reasonable people has no right to assume that a marijuana cigarette furnished at him at a social gathering will not contain PCP. nor may a person assume a marijuana cigarette will produce any predictable intoxicating effect. So basically, that's it. It's just what is out there. So based on this case law, I believe that's why the sentencing, etc., was the way it was in regards with in regards with Bryn Spejcher. I forgot her name there for a second, and I was trying to remember. But yeah, that's why I think it was like that, because if you don't know something, if you don't know what you're taking, it would be wildly unfair for that. So in regards to this case, hold up. So in regards to this case, thanks for going back. Think you need to go back to acting. Joe Odell. I guess. Thank you. I guess. Welcome to the stream for the first time. I first time seeing you here. Welcome. But yeah. So okay. So JA says I think she was Taylor Swift business. That case was so disturbing. This one, of course, too, a life loss. But that was my comments based on. Sorry, no, you're fine. I do know about a Taylor Swift business case. I don't think drugs was involved in that one per se. I'll be honest, I don't really know the details. All I know that they were doing kinky play, and then I don't think drugs were involved in, like, were involved like that. I could be wrong. That's something we will table that case for the next hindsight stream. I will table that case for the next hindsight stream. But the problem with I think that this sentencing was correct, because and people are gonna be some people are gonna be like, of course you're gonna think that, oh wow, so people are now 50-50. I want to know, oh wow, I did not think so. Now that people have seen both sides, it's now like kind of a split decision. So I would love to know why you guys vote the way you did, because this is a very interesting case, in my opinion. If she knew that it was written on the packet, don't for high potent users only, then no. In my case, because like I said earlier, the first time I smoked, it was basically in uni, and I never smoked again. I saw two men, and my friends were like laughing at me as I was like holding my face on the ground and like crying and BS, and my friend and and my friends were like laughing at me, saying, "Oh, this is why we told you not to smoke. This is why this and that." All of those things. This is why they were like basically telling me, "Oh, don't smoke again," blah blah. So I actually didn't. I haven't smoked since until my ex-wife in 2018, and she was a really heavy smoker, and I smoked with her. Again, that was like, I think it was only for like 2 weeks or something like that. But after we broke up, again, it's not who I am. I never smoked anything until 2020. After COVID happened, I was just my sister saw how stressed I was, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, hit this," and I just started smoking since. I don't think the marijuana caused my psychosis, because I personally, I believe it was laced with something, because it was the same strain that I order every single time, and I was smoking it every day. So it was becoming, I don't know. I don't know if maybe it was the prior history of not really smoking too much or anything like that. I don't know why that was, but mine resulted in a psychosis. But usually, actually, let me not speak of it as if it's authoritative, but I was told that I wouldn't have been held for as long as I was held for, if it was because I was held for a month. In the UK, it's called sectioned. I'm not sure. It has different terms in different countries and states. I don't know. I don't know what it's called in other states. I found out from a friend that in Canada it's called State Form 9 or something like that. So I don't really know. But in my case, I'm not gonna say what happened, but if this was to be a thing where I did murder someone and I went into, and I was in a psychosis state, unfortunately, based on UK law, that wouldn't be the case. I'm gonna quickly go into it and read it, but let me just end this poll quickly. 50-50 is, um 10, do you think sentencing was fair? 50-50 says yeah. So it's a split decision. It was 67% before. I'm really, let me know in the comment section why you voted no, why you voted yes, and yeah, I will revisit it and we can have a conversation about it. But this is the UK law. If I was to have done something to the level that the that what's keep forgetting him, Bryn Spejcher was doing, UK law would have been okay. So it's right here. So basically, you go to it. Involuntary intoxication most commonly arises in cases where suspects or defendants claims to that their food or drink has been spiked without their knowledge. However, can you guys see that? Let me just double check you guys can see that. Okay, I might need to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, I think that's better. Okay, so however, involuntary intoxication is not a defense when the defendant, despite or because of the intoxication, formed necessary mens rea at the time of committing the offense. So the one thing that is certain, and I forgot to go through this, when you claim this defense, you kind of have to prove the burden of proof is basically on you in the US context when I was reading it. But over here, it says that if you had any idea of what you were doing at the time of committing the offense, you wouldn't get this defense. I would probably be told, if I was seeking legal representation or something like that, if I was in this scenario, Bryn's scenario, I've probably been told, no, don't admit that you remember or whatever. I'm guessing. I don't know. But me personally, I do remember bits of the day. Some parts were really clear and some parts weren't. It was really in and out. But gosh, it's just embarrassing. That's why I can't say it on stream. It's just it was just embarrassing, at least for me anyway, because it's just not who I am, and it just goes against yeah, it's just embarrassing. My close friends know what happened. And for this one, I am gonna keep this one on the lid. Usually I would be very open about it, but sometimes I do need my privacy in some things. But if this was to be the case, and I had that if I was to say that same thing, maybe if I said, yeah, I remember some parts, I'll lose the defense. I think I would lose the defense in my on this opinion. So in the UK, I don't think she would have a chance to even have this be tried as such. And that was the same thing. That was the case in, I found the case law. I found the case law for it, but it says ignorance of the strength or effect of drink or other intoxicating drugs that a defendant has voluntarily consumed does not make the subsequent intoxication involuntary. So if you have voluntarily consumed something, it doesn't make it involuntary just because you have decided to consume something and then you done something bad. After that, it doesn't mean that you just that's not how it works. Like the drug had to literally, like you literally had no idea whatsoever. So basically, so this case here that is cited, Alan says the appellant consumed some homemade wine, and this had much greater effect on him than anticipated. He committed SA and claimed he was so drunk he did not. You can already tell how that defense is just not plausible. He argued that he had not voluntarily placed himself in that condition, as wine was much stronger than he realized. So I know this is that like the UK, but when you juxtapose this to the case of Bryn, for example, this is wine, one is, marijuana, which is what they were ironically trying to argue in the Bryn case. But you can clearly see the effects of THC being completely different from that of wine, because for something that is that potent for someone that doesn't smoke that much, yeah, it's going to be, and even with my story for example, because that first hit that I first had, that I was sort of seeing things and whatever would happen then, probably in the UK, probably that would have been okay. Probably I could have probably made that defense, but I still remembered it. There was still that, so it wasn't that potent enough. Like, sorry, mens rea, like control, yeah. Like I would, but it's about control. Sorry, it's about having the knowledge, like awareness of your actions. Sorry, not memory. Sorry, my bad. I just want to clear that up, because I just realized, no, I'm mixing up two things. No, it's having controls over your, like the actions that you are taking. Did you were you in control of it? Like that's what the mens rea actually means. I just literally, I remember that when I did law as a module in uni, and this was the first thing that came up. So the mens rea part is what, oh, sorry about all that I said earlier, because that's what it actually means. Literally just remember that. But yeah, so if the mens rea is basically when all these things was going through, would you have had the mental capacity to have carried out all these actions? Were you in control of what you were doing? It's not necessarily forgetting or remembering, because that's what something. Yeah, it's not necessarily like that. So in what I basically want to say is, cases like this, because people do have that idea that if you were to have smoked, for example, or done marijuana, for example, and then you go into a state of psychosis, that means automatically that you have caused it on you. Like, this is something that you have voluntarily done, and therefore, but at the same time, I don't like, in the case of Spejcher, for example, I think it's a fair sentence, because the 100 hours of community service, I mean, she's still being punished. She's just not given prison. That's a so she's still getting 100 hours of community service. She might also get mental health support as a result of this as well. I don't know about that. Nothing was said in those articles that I read to suggest that. But that's the bottom line. The community service, she's still doing time. Then you have 2 years probation. So if she was, let's say that she was a deviant, right? And I know this is not the best example, because you're meant to prevent this from happening rather than, you know, um, waiting for something to happen. But let's say that probation comes with conditions. You can't just, like, if she goes out and like goes near a gang, she's done. She's going to prison. Anything that she does that's remotely illegal, she's going to prison. So she kind of has to be on her best behavior. If she has this profile, basically, if she has this killer profile that they're saying that she has, she she can't offend at this point. If she any offense that she does would land her in prison. But I think the other side of it that people need to understand is basically the recovery side of it, because that is the most taxing. I mean, coming to terms with, I mean, mine was nowhere near this. I can't imagine killing someone that you actually love, like, that you are actually in an intimate relationship with, unaliving someone that you are actually in an intimate relationship with. That is a different thing to have to come into it. I'm not saying that by the way, I'm not saying that the family shouldn't protest or they were not let down in some way. I can understand how that family is feeling, because at the end of the day, they still lost a life, and they feel like that does deserve prison because it's still a loss of life. And I would agree. And I wish I knew more about that show business case, because it would have been a perfect juxtaposition. Let me actually quickly search that up. Actually, let me actually quickly search that up. Taylor show business. Uh, Taylor show business case. Okay, so this is the I this is on the fly, by the way. This is on the fly, so it's not something that I really planned for. But she just really reminded me of this case, and I completely forgot about it. So there's show business 25 was convicted of the gruesome murder of a 24-year-old boyfriend, Sharon. A gruesome detail of how she choked during sex proceeded to dismember the body. Right. So nothing. Okay. So going down. So he says Toronto's penis was carved out organs layer by law enforcement, etc. In the basement. The gruesome nature of was on full display, etc. It took the jury 30 minutes to convict Shabusiness on all counts of first degree intentional homicide, mutilation of the corpse, and third degree sexual assault. In Tyrone's death, she was sentenced to life in prison. So she got a life sentence, but they were involved in a sexual relationship, etc. But despite Shabusiness attempts to enter not guilty pleas for the reason of insanity, there's a big difference. Involuntary manslaughter is actually distinct from insanity pleas. I didn't go. I know I didn't go into it, but I did read it. You're gonna have to trust me on this one. I did actually read it. It is legally distinct. It's not the same as insanity. Because why? I another stream. We will go into it. Another stream. So over the course of the 3-day trial, jurors heard your business online searches for Jeffrey Dahmer walking into court or sex. What? You're joking. Oh Lord. Throughout proceedings, she also attacked her own. I saw this one. I saw that on Twitter. Okay, her business picked up Therion from a mother's home around 9:30. A friend of the couple joined them before they get to marijuana was smoked, where they free smoked marijuana. Okay, so business told the police, and Therion also smoked methamphetamine and injected pazodone. Okay, so she was really drugged up. So it wasn't just marijuana; it was 3. That's it. The involuntary manslaughter charge. Sorry, not involuntary manslaughter. I need to go back to that, because it does actually state there's a case law that damn, I need to read that, because it does state if you go on to read drink or take more and more, that's not going to qualify as this. I think it does state that here. Damn, I'm trying to find it. Oh, can't find it right now. Okay, so it was a case law that I found. I can't find it. Why can't I find it? There's one here. It's got to be here. I read it somewhere, but I think it was UK law. Actually, I think it was UK. I think it was UK that I actually let me actually go back to that, because I think it was UK that actually defined that a lot better. Actually, and I think it was the case of Kingston. Okay, so this case, I think it was this one. So this case was voluntary intoxication is no defense if mens rea was patient. That's meant to say involuntary. Every Even if mens rea was induced. Am I showing you? Yeah, I think I'm showing you. Even if Benzer was induced by voluntary intoxication. Kingston D at pedophilic. So this person was basically assaulting an underage boy. He admitted his tendencies, but claimed to have been to have been able that he would have claimed to have been able to keep it under control, and that drugs caused him to lose his inhibition. The judge directed the jury to convict if they found that they had intention to convict. That they should convict if even if the intention was induced by intoxication. So the court of appeal quashed his conviction on the ground that arose out of circumstances for which he bears no blame. So conviction was reinstated. Uh, so the court of appeal before the House of Lords, which is a higher court. So it was appealed. They quashed they basically vacated the judge. They basically denied the sentencing. Basically, I don't know what word to use there. Sorry about that. But they basically said no. He bears no blame because of all of that. But it was appealed a lot. But the conviction was reinstated by the House of Lords. So he says, citing Professor Grew, what the court appeal did was to introduce a new exculpatory defense that applies that when mens rea is made out. The defense introduced by court appeal has no basis in common law. Oh, I can't find it. Damn it. Basically, from what? Oh, damn it. I need to find it. That actually does say that. I'm trying to find the part that actually does say if you continue to drink and drink and drink, it doesn't mean involuntary. But I think that was the Allen case. But that, so, but there was a case that actually said there was a case that actually said that if you take to take one or more drugs, then you lost the defense. But I just can't find it right now. Damn, I've lost it in my millions of tabs that I've got open here. I think it's this one. Let me go into this one. I think it's this one. And I think this is People versus Sale. I think it's this one. I'm not too sure. So he destroyed the weapon, the blood sample was taken. Damn it, I can't find it. Gosh, I can't find it. I'm sorry, guys. But let me go to the chat real quick. But the point I was trying to make was the point I was trying to make was let me go to the chat. This case is insane. I'm guessing you talk about the business case. Yes. The case where the girl got off with for craziness is disgrace to the justice system. Hey, by the way, welcome back, Megan J. I do remember you. Weed will not do that. She has something else. No. It was actually proven that weed was the only thing that was in her system. I do know what you're referring to because there is actually a law that says if you take more than one, then no, you know what you're doing. Like you can't use this defense after that. But if it was only weed, but yeah, it says as someone who worked in the industry in the industry in California, no marijuana product should induce this type of behavior. She also killed her dog. I believe it was her dog. Might have been his dog. Even weed with THC above 35% will not induce this type of reaction unless there's another underlying issue with the. That's okay. So this is why psychiatric codes are important, and this because this is what they're trying to figure out. If you do have underlying, she didn't have any, like she doesn't have any mental disorders or anything like that. She did have a hearing issue and all things like that, but she didn't have any mental disorders or anything like that. There was a case with Amanda Bynes, and she was admitted into the mental psychiatric hold, sorry, for 72 hours when she was walking down LA naked. So but that was all the way back in I heard that story back in March 20th of March 2000, and I that story, for example, that's would be trigger to put someone into a psychiatric hole to see whether what they have taken, if it's drugs, etc., or whether it was a disorder, etc., or whether she has a history of mental illness. This is what I went through as well. It's like psychosis also, there, it doesn't happen in linear way. It's not the same results every single time. That's what I'm trying to say here. Bottom line, she was lying about the reason for her madness. I think blaming on just, I don't, I've read, I don't detect that. Yeah, but that's Amanda. Like, I was using an example, that's Amanda Bynes. But for the case of Bryn Spejcher, she doesn't actually have any mental issues. She's actually a professional audiologist, and she doesn't have the she doesn't actually have she was never a weed smoker as well. That was the first time. So that reaction may have seemed out of the ordinary, but every expert, even the prosecution expert and the defense expert, they all testified that she did not have control. And they all testified that she did not know that this, like, she didn't expect the THC to be that high. And she wasn't, now, the only thing that I didn't find in all what I've read was whether she knew the bottle, because they did say that the bottle did have a label saying only for tolerant users only. But whether she saw that bottle or not is is a mystery. Helga Frau, hello, welcome, hello, welcome back. How you doing, Helga? Bryn obviously had a mental breakdown at the time of the murder. Yeah, but that's not the same as having mental health issues. Anyone would have a mental breakdown going through that. A psychotic episode is a mental breakdown. Like, I don't. But the point is, she doesn't have prior mental health disorders that would have at least trigger an insanity plea. I think you need something like that. I don't know. I don't know much about insanity pleas, but what I was reading here, from what I read, I do think that this was fair because of the purely because of the purely because not they have the evidence to show, a video evidence to show how she was acting, and everyone was like, yeah, this is psychosis. So by the definition of what psychosis is, you really are not in control of your actions, whether you kill someone or not. You really are not. Which, I know that sounds crass from me, but when someone anyway, I don't believe psychotic episodes come out of nowhere. There must be a precursor somewhere. Not that anyone may have been aware of that, though, besides Bryn. It's complex. That's the only way I can say it. It's complex. The reason why I say it's complex is because, again, you don't need a disorder, or it could just be anxiety. It could be not even anxiety. It could be stress. Even stress can also induce psychosis, etc. The reason why I wanted to do this, and the reason why I'm doing this, is because it's not as simple as, oh, he decided to smoke, or he or she decided to smoke, and then this happened to them, so therefore, that was their choice and they deserve all of that. If you're offered by somebody else, and then you take it and you don't know what you're taking, that's also out of your control, which is the same case for Bryn as well. But in my case, this is why I said, if this happened in the UK, I'll be out. If this was me and in the same condition happened in the UK, but it was with my history where I was smoking, when I knew what I was smoking, but the only thing is, I don't have the details whether it will they didn't have the exact, the weed I was smoking, or whatever. They don't have that. So, but if it was to find that it was laced with something, that would be it. I don't know. because again, am I in control of the actions, and was it caused by by whatever that was causing? Megan, oh no, don't worry. This is what hindsight is about. We are literally looking back on these cases that I couldn't go into a deep dive on, and kind of going into a deep dive, a live deep dive of it, you know. But at the same time, it's not just doing this one case. I do want to do like a plethora of cases that I found that interest me, and then we have a discussion about it. It's mainly a chance for you and I, to have a discussion, because like I said, I try to do that on the deep dives that I do, like for example, the docuseries that I do with Deb V Heard. I try to interact with the chat as much as possible when it premiered. It's just not the same thing. I would love to interact with you guys the way that I'm doing here today, like get your feedback on it, and then you guys can bounce ideas, all those good stuff. So like, this is definitely something I'm definitely going to be doing more and more. This wouldn't be the only one, but in regards to, look, there is already a stigma on weed and psychosis, that is, because when you go through that experience, unfortunately you are branded as crazy. And it's the same thing here. You are branded as someone that has rage issues. You can't escape it. And yeah, I'm not gonna pretend like I don't understand, Megan J, that why it's infuriating for you, because it's complex, because it's a drug and people choose to do drugs. Same thing with, but it's almost, and I'm not trying to conflate here, so don't, I'm not trying to, like, equivocate here. I'm just drawing a parallel. That's also that's what's going on here. But what I'm trying to say is, it's like addiction. It's hard to understand, because you're like, okay, why can't you just stop drinking, or why can't you just stop taking? It's not that simple. But of course, like I said, I know it's a false equivalence. I know I'm not trying to equivocate or anything like that. But I'm just showing you that same nuance that exists with addictions is the same nuance that would also exist with people that went through psychosis, and people that have done something bad while they have been through psychosis. Like, I still can't for the life of me remember what happened for like that. I've lost memory for like, I think 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And my memory is not even linear, so I don't even know if it's lost 2 weeks memory or lost 2 days memory. That's how insane it is. Like, sometimes it comes back, and yeah, great. If I have some memory back, great. Sometimes I don't want it back, because I'm like, because when you're when you're on hold, it's a different experience. Like, go, like, I don't know what happened with Bryn, whether she was taken again. I did not read that at all. What happened after the attack? Whether she was arrested and she was sent straight to prison, or whether she was taken to him. I think she would have been likely taken to a psychiatric hospital where being held. There is this room that you go to, that if you're considered to be a danger to everyone else, and all you have is like, it's dark, and the toilet is like, anyway, and all you have is a sleeping bed. That's it. Nothing else. You don't even have your phone. You don't even have. Wait, no, I did not. No. You do have your. No. You don't have your phone. You don't have anything like that. You just with yourself. The bed is all you have, etc. Like, that's the most grueling experience. And on top of that, you can, after going out of that, you kind of have to, like, come to terms with all of those things, try to consolidate your memories and sort it out. What I'm trying to say is, it is disassociation. I don't even feel like I'm qualified to talk about it, because I am not qualified to talk about it. So I'm really doing my best to, like, try and pick my words. But at the same time, the experience, I hope I'm giving you an a good picture of what that experience is like, because you really do not remember. I didn't do anything bad or anything. It's just embarrassing what happened to me. I didn't punch someone in the face and then someone reported me to, that never happened. It but sometimes people assume that you do that. People assume that you've done something really bad when you've had psychosis, because there are stories about it where people claim that where people either claim or they have been found to have done those things while they are going through that. So the stigma is there, but at the same time, when it comes to like convicting it and talking about it, it doesn't help with the headlines, with some of the headlines that I've seen, because it just continues to uninform the public. Let me just read a couple of chats. She needed to be held accountable, at least doing parole in and out of the mental. I think she is doing. I didn't read that, so yes, I can't fool you for thinking that. I did not read that she was doing something like that. All I know that she was going through um community service. Night, Elga. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a good night. Megan J says, I disassociate from autism and stuff like that, but I don't necessarily understand psychosis, so I do appreciate you talking about this. I still don't understand it. If I'm being honest, it would this I it's it's like I said, I'm trying not to say the wrong thing, because it's just gonna further add to what's already out there. But what I am basic as a baseline, when it comes, no, they're not crazy, is what I'm trying to say. Bryn was not crazy from what I've like. Her background doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't seem like someone that just decided one day I'm gonna get up and kill my, no, it's not like that. It's very nuanced. Taylor Business claims that, but at the same time, they were doing a hell amount of drugs. I can understand if Taylor Business did not get life imprisonment. I can actually understand that, because you're doing one drug, you're doing another drug, you're doing another. This is voluntary. But if you're just doing one hit and you don't even know what you're hitting, and you don't even know how strong it is, and then it just hits you, that's a very different case. And you don't smoke before. You also don't have a history of criminal convictions or disorders that would have, because I understand what Megan says. If there was a disorder somewhere in our past, this would, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that would be the case. A disorder would be, it would exacerbate a lot worse. But at the same time, being a new user wouldn't, again, like, you are more supple to a lot of, it's unpredictable is what I'm trying to say. It's really, and that's the same words that the doctors use. It's really unpredictable, but it's not something that you can just use that to conclude and make judgments about somebody. It's not fair. I'll just say it like that. It's not fair. The reason why, say whatever you feel, I do want to do that. I do want to do that. It's just who I am. I'm just the type of person that the type of person that just wants to be. I don't want to say something and then someone else goes and uses it in the wrong context or in the wrong way, and then that's it. I don't want to say not the wrong thing per se, but I don't want to add to, that's the best way I can put it. I don't want to add to the stigmatization that this thing already has, because people that go through this are already called crazy. Are already called crazy. When I saw the Amanda Bynes story last year, I know she had some kind of psychotic, like, well, it does say on the TMZ article that she did have a psychotic event, happen to her. but just by reading the headline, I knew. I was like, no, like I just knew. Like I didn't even have to read it. There's the part in the article that basically says that she had a psychotic break. That just confirmed what I already had an idea. That's psychosis, basically. So that's the main. But I've always wanted to talk about this case. I've always wanted to do this case, and I'm I'm really happy that you guys but I'm really happy that you guys really sat through this with me and gone through this with me because but let me know as well if there are any cases that you guys look back and you're like, oh yeah, I would have also loved to talk about this case as well. But it's not going to be like this kind of format where I am focusing on one topic. For example, sometimes it would have a myriad of topics. Sometimes it might just be looking back on like something that was really interesting on Twitter. But the one thing that I had difficulty in deciding what hindsight was going to be about was whether to do it live or pre-recorded. I'll try live for now, but I do think live is a bit more enjoyable. I do think that one makes sense. But that was what I was going that was what I was going through. But I do like the idea of covering multiple stories. This one was the main one. I will have a main story that I want to focus on. The next time I want to do this should be at the end of the month because I do have a lot of releases. The Depth v Heard doc is actually done now. The part 3 is done. I'm just editing it out and I'm gonna put it out. I am planning to get a producer. Like hopefully that would happen so that I can get into a festival. If I can do that, that's it. I've completed life. No need to do anything anymore. I've completed life because that would be amazing. That would be such an amazing feat to get it produced, make it actually become a fully fledged doc. I don't know what that entails. I don't know if that's even possible, but I'm gonna try at least and see if I can achieve it this year because the narrative has got to change. But that's just one part. There's also so many releases that I'm going to be doing this month in regards to a lot more of the Adventures of Ketchup Man is being released. You can also become a member to watch that because that's going to be exclusive for members. It's not going to be on YouTube, but it will be exclusively on X and drheinz.info. So the Adventures of Ketchup Man, that is where I just talk about movies, etc. I am also planning to do a Discord group as well, so that we can do movie nights, etc. And watch all that with Ketchup Man, or and basically all that. But over here on YouTube, it's just gonna be about cases and social commentary. That's basically what my YouTube is about. That's what I'm trying to do. Sometimes but like but yeah. um Megan J, thank you so much. Retire early though. Here's hoping for that. You put in a lot of hard work. I actually do. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I like no, I actually like I like lives. But I want to put out quality content. I just didn't know which one would work out better for the idea that I had at the time. Live was just the one that I was like, okay, just try this though, just try this and see what happens. And I really did enjoy today. I did like how you guys are interacting because it was just the interacting aspect. The only reason I decided to do it live was because of the chat thing that I was telling you. It was just mainly, yeah, I don't get a chance to actually talking deaf in the chat, just for you get. So it made sense to do the live, but it may not be for my visions go crazy sometimes. I'm a creative. Sometimes I get an idea that I thought, oh, this might be better actually. I could do it like this, or I could, make a bit. But I do like this, the fact that we actually get to interact and reflect on not just cases, but sometimes just look at things that's going on within the social sphere. We won't, like, I already have a show that I do that with, which is Two Guys, a Girl, and the Tea. And that one we talk more about it's just me and a panel. But this one, Hindsight, is just me. No one, there'll be no guest, there'll be no anything. It's just me. So yes, but just me and you, I should say. It's just me and you, sorry, I should say. Cover Courtney Clayton's too. Yes. You should check out my channel. It's got all of that. It's got all of that right there. The Clenny case is all there ready. The deep dive is there. You can also watch the live stream I've done, especially with the Jonathan Majors case. It's all in a playlist ready for you right there and there. So yeah, my channel, I will be covering the Claney case live as well. I will be hopefully bringing guests to come and opine, like professionals, etc., to come and opine their opinions on the case that's going on. So that will be great. But I hope you guys actually did enjoy this. It says I love it. It's like a conversation between us. Of course, I need to start watching the panel one too. I keep forgetting. No, we have variety is the spice of life on this channel. We want more life, so do jump in. It's just 3 lives that I do: Heinz Report, Case Files Edition. There is also another one that I'm doing tomorrow. Actually, I can't believe I forgot to announce this to you, but I am actually. There was a man that was falsely accused in the state of, damn, I forgot the state. How could I forget the state? Damn. There was a man, I think it was Arizona. I'm gonna she's gonna kill me now. But it's her sister reached out to me. His sister, sorry, not her sister. His sister reached out to me, and basically they saw my Jonathan Majors coverage, and they were like, "Oh, this case of false accusation is going on right now. Could you please, just talk to my brother, etc., because he has been falsely accused." And surprise, surprise. I mean, well, it's no surprise to me. The case was just literally just dismissed this month. It was on the 9th, I believe. It was dismissed, and I've read. She sent me the affidavit. She sent me the deposition that was done with the alleged victim. She sent me all of those things, and the prosecution withdrew their case. They didn't proceed further. They didn't go further with it. So she wanted to talk about the case. So we're doing that tomorrow. I can't believe, like, life has been distracting me so much that I haven't even been on the promotions. But tomorrow I'm gonna put it up on the community notes so that you guys can see. That will be a live stream to definitely not miss out, because their story is very, very important for the research that I've done and studied, because it actually filters through that, and they are great examples of why we need to take false accusations very seriously. Also, I am releasing a lot of what time tomorrow? It was going to be, it's same time, 9 o'clock. But everything will be in the community notes section. So make sure you subscribe, and then and have that notification turned on, so that you guys can see the community note. But I'll definitely put it up in a really good time. But yeah, that'll be tomorrow. But and that will be under the Heinz report. So that it's not hindsight or anything like that. But I just wanna also, I'll be releasing the more interviews. I spoke with supporters of Depp and Amber Heard in regards to the Depp v Heard case. I'm editing those as we speak so that I can release it all next week. That's the plan anyway. I'm also releasing the interviews with the survivors that I spoke to, those that did not receive help from the system when they went to get it. One of the guests had the case, heard her story heard out by the Daily Mirror, for example, and other reputable posts in the UK. So I was very excited to talk to her about what had happened. I'll also be releasing interviews with researchers in the realm of abuse assault, false accusations, um, bias against men, the bias in society. I'll be releasing all of those before releasing the last part of Deb v Heard. So definitely a lot more content is coming out. I've been working on the content, and it's all being pushed out next week. But in terms of hindsight, we'll definitely be back at the end of the month to recap through more and more things. But I'm really happy that I got to do this with you guys. I'm really happy I got to hear you guys. That you guys stuck all the way here in the to the end with me. If you did, hit that like button. Hit that like button if you, because you made it this far. You might as well. It's not gonna cost you anything. It's throw ketchup all over that like button. And Yelly Bean, I ketchup. uh, I'm guessing that was for ketchup, man. She always says I well when I mention ketchup, man. But yeah, the Adventures of the Adventures of Ketchup Man is also being. I'm working on the art for that, because that's going to. You're not going to see my face unless I'm talking to a guest, but it's going to be just a cartoon and me talking about movies. It's kind of the show that allows me to just dump, to just be creative and just speak about something else that isn't really about cases or anything like that, so that you again, I like different things, and at least you got Ketchup Man for that side. But this side, Heinz, is all about deep dives and deep discussions. But we will definitely pick this back up, because there is so much I wanted. There is so much more to cover in regards to psychosis and cases like this. There is so much more. I will admit I only wanted to touch the foundation, the basics, and just really give my take, or because from my experience, this is all very. I do see it differently. I do see it differently. It doesn't mean that anyone is wrong to hold their opinions or anything like that. It just means that you there are other perspectives that may need consideration. I think legally having the involuntary intoxication is good for everyone, because sometimes you can be intoxicated. I mean, this is going off the rails here. This is going off into conspiracy theory land. But imagine if a new drug comes out and it controls your mind, and you can be programmed to do stuff. This law technically does mean that whoever done that, they could at least get justice, or not be, and the person that was whoever was responsible for that will face jail time rather than the person. I think that's fair. Of course, I just created a Sherlock Holmes scenario in front of you, but I think such laws should exist. I mean, I don't think people that spike people and then because they're doing something while they're taking advantage of them, I don't think that's fair that the person should be held accountable for being, for being drugged up. And then they reacted when they realized, like, I don't know, not realized, but like they reacted while they are in that state. Like things like that. I think it should be there for those purposes. And I think this is one of those things. I mean, yes, she took that drug voluntarily. You can argue that, but I also think there's a massive, there's a massive part that the boyfriend played as well, by giving her such a high dosage, knowing that. Again, I don't want to I'm not blaming him. By the way, I don't want to blame him. I'm just saying, making a it wouldn't there is no easy way to frame it that I wouldn't be the bad guy, or but the point I'm trying to make is, I think, based on what I've read about this woman, she is no Taylor Swift business, and I don't think she deserves those comparisons. I think she was just unfortunate to have been in that situation. That's all I got. That's all we have time. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you go on to drheinz.info and check out a lot of the deep dives that we do. If you want to get all your case files, or just know about the cases that we cover, you can find it there. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next episode of Heinz Report. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourself. Have a great evening, or a great, yeah, it will be evening. It's yeah, it will be evening where you are, or a great morning if you're all down under on the other side of the world. Thank you so much once again. Take care of yourself. Have a good night. Thank you, Yelly Bean. Have a good night to yourself too. And yeah, I'll see you on the next episode, and I'll see you on the next live that we have tomorrow. Don't miss that. Take care. Bye.